Forget what you think you know about time and space. Forget everything you thought you understood about the Doctor. This isn't just another season of Doctor Who. This is a collision of destinies, a symphony of chaos, a mystery that threatens to unravel the very fabric of reality. 15 is here, and has brought with him a question mark named Ruby Sunday. Get ready, Whovians, because Season 14 isn't just a story, it's a cosmic puzzle box, and the answers will shatter everything you thought you knew. We kicked off with The Church on Ruby Road, a festive and fun introduction. Ruby, an often featured on Davina McCall's show, hopes to find her birth parents. Instead, she finds chaos. The 15th Doctor arrives and begins to investigate these strange occurrences, revealing that they are caused by mischievous goblins. Goblins, drawn to her by unknown reasons, causing her accidents and bad luck, culminating in the kidnapping of her foster sister, Lulu Bell. They pursue the goblins onto their flying ship, revealing their connection to Ruby Unknown. After a rousing musical number, the Doctor distracts the Goblin King so he and Ruby can rescue Lulu Bell. Upon return and a brief celebration, the Doctor finds Ruby has disappeared and the present changed. He tracks the Goblin ship back to the day of Ruby's abandonment and finds them steal baby Ruby. The Doctor is able to use his gadgets to pull the ship from the sky, kill the Goblin King and rescue baby Ruby, restoring the timeline. The episode sets up the mysteries of Ruby's birth, Mrs. Flood's strange behavior, and the Doctor's fascination with Ruby's past. Next, Space Babies. The Doctor introduces his new companion, Ruby, to the TARDIS and the concept of time travel, before taking her to a futuristic space station. They discover it's a baby farm run by highly intelligent, talking babies who are cared for by Jocelyn, the last surviving human crew member, while living in fear of a creature they call the Bogoman. The Doctor uncovers that the Bogoman was actually created from biological matter, bogies, by the station's misguided AI as entertainment, and just as Jocelyn attempts to eject it, Ruby realizes the creature is intrinsically linked to the babies themselves. After saving the Bogoman, which the babies then adopt, the Doctor sets the station and its inhabitants on course for a refugee planet. He then formally invites Ruby to join his travels, giving her a TARDIS key but setting the condition that they cannot revisit the night she was abandoned, and upon returning her home, he secretly takes her DNA sample just as it mysteriously begins to snow inside the TARDIS. In 1925, the entity Maestro is summoned by the Devil's Chord, played by a piano teacher, whose musical essence Maestro consumes. Later, the Doctor and Ruby travel to 1963 to witness the Beatles' recording but find music across the world has become bland and emotionless due to Maestro's influence. After confronting Maestro, who reveals themselves to be a child of the Toymaker intent on erasing life from the universe, the Doctor learns a specific chord is needed to banish them. A trip to a desolate future London underscores the threat. Returning to 1963, during a final confrontation where Maestro hints at a mysterious power connected to Ruby's birth, the Doctor attempts the banishing chord on a special piano but cannot find the final note. John Lennon and Paul McCartney, finding the piano outside, discover the missing note and complete the chord, trapping Maestro, who warns of the one who waits before disappearing, thus restoring music to the world. On a war-torn alien planet, the Doctor and Ruby investigate after witnessing soldier John Vata being killed by a robotic ambulance and converted into an AI cylinder. During their investigation, the Doctor steps on a Villengard landmine that targets DNA. His Time Lord physiology means moving would trigger an explosion capable of destroying half the planet. Immobilized, he uses Vata's AI cylinder to maintain balance while Ruby tries to keep Vata's newly arrived daughter, Splice, away from the dangerous mine. They encounter soldiers Monday Flynn and Canto, who are fighting supposed underground aliens called Casterians. Misunderstandings lead to Monday shooting the Doctor and Canto severely injuring Ruby before Canto himself is killed and turned into an AI. Realizing the Casterians are fictional and the conflict is manufactured by Villengard for profit, the Doctor persuades Vata's AI to infiltrate Villengard's systems and reveal the truth to the Anglican army. Vata's AI succeeds, ending the war, which deactivates the landmine and allows an ambulance to finally heal Ruby. In the aftermath, Monday takes Splice into her care as the Doctor and Ruby depart. After the Doctor vanishes upon stepping on a fairy circle in Wales inscribed with "Rest in Peace, Mad Jack," his companion Ruby becomes haunted by a mysterious woman who remains exactly 73 yards away at all times. Anyone who interacts with this distant figure flees in terror and turns hostile towards Ruby, leading to her abandonment by her mother and eventually Unit, condemning her to decades of isolation. Years later, Ruby recognizes the Mad Jack name belongs to Roger A. P. Gwilliam, a politician the Doctor warned would trigger nuclear war. She uses the woman's terrifying presence to force Gwilliam's resignation after he wins the election, averting the crisis. Despite this, the woman persists until Ruby's death decades later, at which point Ruby seemingly becomes the woman in the past, allowing her to warn her younger self and prevent the Doctor from ever stepping on the circle, thus averting the entire harrowing timeline.
Dot and Bubble. We're transported to the bizarre world of Find Time, where residents are obsessed with their dots, floating devices that project video feeds of friends. The episode introduces us to Lindy Pepperbean, a young woman who relies heavily on her dot for everything, even basic tasks like walking. But things take a terrifying turn when giant bugs start appearing and devouring people. Lindy, initially clueless, eventually works with the Doctor and Ruby Sunday to find safety. However, she shows a surprising lack of remorse when forced to choose between her favorite influencer, Ricky September, and her own survival. The episode ends with a stark and unsettling contrast. The Doctor and Ruby desperately offer the Find Time survivors a chance to escape, but they're met with blatant racism and prejudice. Lindy, once seemingly helpless, reveals a ruthless streak, sacrificing Ricky and choosing to stay with her prejudiced friends. Dot and Bubble is a masterfully written episode that explores themes of technology addiction, influencer culture, and the consequences of prejudice with a clever and disturbing twist. The reliance on the bubble, with the Doctor and Ruby appearing in video windows, was a brilliant way to keep them involved in the action despite being physically separated. The acting is superb. Ncuti Gatwa delivers a strong performance as the 14th Doctor, and Millie Gibson shines as the resourceful Ruby Sunday. Callie Cook also stands out as Lindy, a character who is both irritating and tragically representative of a certain modern-day mindset. In a season of top-notch episodes, Doctor Who keeps delivering excellent, thought-provoking content week after week. Dot and Bubble is yet another high point for the rebooted series. Though light on screen time for both the Doctor and Ruby, Gatwa and Gibson bring their A-game, especially in the final gut-punch moments. Wrapped in the classic tale of an alien invasion story, writer Russell T Davies has crafted a cleverly damning indictment of white supremacy. Through the eyes of Lindy, we see Find Time as a seemingly perfect place, only to uncover its insidious nature bit by bit until the episode's devastating conclusion. Dot and Bubble also tackles the painful reality that the Doctor can't save everyone, especially those who don't want to be saved. Described by Davies as Doctor Who does Black Mirror, this tech-heavy episode critiques over-reliance on cell phones and social media. It's a deft critique that avoids sounding out of touch, instead offering a wider takedown of privileged individuals who use their status for self-importance. Rogue takes a surprising turn into science fiction cosplay, with a heavy dose of Regency-era romance thrown in for good measure. The Doctor, Ncuti Gatwa, and his companion Ruby, Millie Gibson, find themselves attending a lavish ball seemingly ripped straight out of Bridgerton. But beneath the surface of elegance lurks a sinister plot. Guests are being replaced by a race of shape-shifting aliens called the Chuld, who crave drama and social climbing. The episode cleverly blends classic Doctor Who elements with a modern twist. We have the familiar hunt for alien threats, but this time the Doctor is facing off against creatures who find their victims most appealing based on their social status and potential for scandal. The arrival of Rogue, Jonathan Groff, a bounty hunter with a mysterious past, adds another layer of intrigue. His initial hostility towards the Doctor quickly gives way to a simmering tension, culminating in a scene that will have fans buzzing. Here's where Rogue truly shines. The Doctor and Rogue's dynamic is electric. Their witty banter and undeniable chemistry create a unique energy, a testament to the brilliant performances by Gatwa and Groff. It's a scene that's sure to spark conversation. "I'm looking at you, woke police," particularly with the Doctor Who universe's first on-screen kiss between the Doctor and another male. It's a moment that brings back memories of the Doctor's encounter with the War Doctor, John Hurt, during the 50th anniversary special, where, as Ten kisses his new bride, the Queen, the War Doctor asks with a hint of trepidation, "Is there a lot of this in the future?" The 11th Doctor, Matt Smith, simply replies, "It does start to happen, yeah." Rogue seems to confirm that answer as well as taking a bold step forward for LGBTQ+ representation in the series. Was this episode planned specifically to air during Pride Month? While the episode's main plot revolves around stopping the Chuldor, it's the Doctor and Rogue's dynamic that steals the show. Their witty banter and undeniable chemistry create a unique energy that leaves viewers wanting more. However, the episode isn't without its stumbles. The constant references to Netflix's hit Bridgerton feel heavy-handed at times. While both shows feature lavish balls and Regency-era settings, Doctor Who misses an opportunity to pay homage to the genre's true pioneer, Jane Austen. A subtle nod to Austen's wit and social commentary could have added depth and authenticity to the historical setting. The resolution, with Rogue sacrificing himself to save Ruby, feels a bit rushed, leaving viewers wanting more closure. Despite these shortcomings, Rogue is a fun and engaging episode that...
The episode opens with the TARDIS skidding into unit headquarters, where we see both familiar faces and some new ones. Kate Lethbridge-Stewart is back, alongside Rose Noble, an upgraded Vlinx, and Colonel Ibrahim. New additions include Harriet, the head of Unit's archive, and Maurice Gibbons, a child genius who's now Unit's scientific advisor. The Doctor and Ruby join forces with Unit to investigate two intriguing women. First, we have Susan Triad, an IT genius who goes by Sue. There's something off about her, and the Doctor is suspicious, especially since S Triad is an anagram of TARDIS, and his granddaughter's name is Susan. Unit has been keeping tabs on her, and even has a live feed of her rehearsing a speech for the United Nations about her S Triad technology, which has been making waves worldwide. Former companion Mel has gone undercover on Susan's media team, taking DNA samples that have so far come back human. Despite this, the Doctor remains intrigued, given the connections and her nickname. Next, there's Ruby's birth mother. The Doctor is time-locked out of the moment she abandoned Ruby on Christmas Eve, but Unit's Harriet points out that CCTV cameras were nearby that night. Ruby retrieves a VHS tape with grainy footage of the event. As Ruby heads home, Carla decides she wants to be involved, leaving Mrs. Flood to watch Cherry. Mrs. Flood ominously hints at a coming storm, saying, "He waits no more." The Doctor wants to analyze Ruby's tape with a time window. Despite initial protests, Kate admits Unit has won 10 floors down. As the Doctor, Ruby, and Colonel Chidsey begin the analysis, the time window shows Ruby's memories and the VHS footage of the night she was abandoned. We see Ruby's hooded mother, but her face remains obscured. Suddenly, a swirling cloud of black dust with red lights appears. Morris's readings suggest it's something outside the laws of the known universe. Chidsey investigates and disappears, leaving only his dust-covered corpse behind. The Doctor and Mel rush to confront Susan Triad. As Susan prepares for her speech, she begins rambling about her dreams, and her teleprompter reveals a message, "I am returning." Harriet, possessed by a sinister voice, speaks in unison with Susan, declaring that the ultimate god has returned. The cloud around the TARDIS transforms into a giant, dog-like creature with red eyes, Sutekh, the god of death. Sutekh, introduced in the classic serial Pyramids of Mars, is an alien with the goal of destroying all life. The Fourth Doctor previously defeated him by extending a time corridor so far into the future that Sutekh died of old age before reaching the end. Now, it seems he's back, and stronger than ever. As Susan transforms into a skeletal figure with Sutekh's voice, chaos ensues. Sutekh declares his intent to bring death to the universe, and the episode ends on a massive cliffhanger. How will the Doctor, Ruby, and Unit stop this ancient god? We'll have to wait for next week's finale, Empire of Death, to find out.
Russell T Davies' Empire of Death is everything fans love, and sometimes hate, about his season finales, amped up with a Disney budget. It's ridiculous, emotional, and completely over the top. Stick around and watch our spoiler-filled breakdown of the season finale. The multiple major character deaths of almost everyone. It was a whirlwind of emotions and action. Naturally, those deaths were reversed in a finale that managed to balance cosmic stakes with the bonds of human connection. And for everyone theorizing about Ruby's mother being Susan Foreman, the Rani, the Master, or Missy, or even Romana, sorry, but nope. Did this episode wrap up all the season's mysteries? Not at all. Many plot twists barely made sense. But in true Davies fashion, it's the heart of the story that matters. From Suteka's defeat to Ruby's reunion with her birth mother, the emotional beats were delivered in spades. The episode picks up with classic Who villain Sutek, who has been hiding in the TARDIS since the Fourth Doctor's era. This setup leads to some entertaining, if not entirely logical, twists. Was Sutek around during major events like the Last of the Time Lords or the Doctor's wife? Who knows? The god of death is now using the Doctor's joy of traveling the universe as a tool for destruction. Suteka's plan involves killing everyone at Unit HQ and spreading his dust of death across the cosmos. It's devastating to see the Doctor recount all the planets he's visited with Sutek hitchhiking along with him, and realizing the destruction Sutek has wrought. However, thanks to Unit's time window, the Doctor, Mel, and Ruby escape before the dust can reach them. With the time window being driven by memory, Ruby's memory of the TARDIS helps to materialize a remembered TARDIS, a TARDIS that looks like the old police box, but with an interior made up of mementos and parts of TARDISes, Doctors, and companions of the past. The Doctor and Ruby are able to rig the memory TARDIS to jumpstart and travel to safety, with Mel along for the ride. This episode is packed with callbacks to previous Doctor Who lore, from a Fourth Doctor villain to references to everything from Daleks to the Ood. It also explores the Doctor's lingering guilt over his past actions, adding emotional depth to the plot. This seems to hit this Doctor harder than ever. As the bi-generated therapy Doctor, his clean slate and weight of thousands of years of grief and loss are gone. This is his first big tragedy faced. In the end, Ruby is the key to defeating Sutek, along with the help of some smart rope. Sutek couldn't be destroyed by brute force but some cleverness and planning while playing on Suteka's obsession with who Ruby is and why she is important. However, Ruby is ordinary, and it's her ordinariness that Sutek fails to understand. The Doctor tricks and traps Sutek using her energy-transferring gloves and a rope strong enough to hold a god. They drag Sutek on his new leash through the time vortex, undoing all the death and decay that God had rent out on the universe. The plan has its holes, but the story is still fun. Everyone who died is revived, and the Doctor ensures Sutek is truly defeated. Ruby's mother, Louise Allison Miller, is revealed to be just an ordinary woman who gave up her baby to protect her. This revelation grounds the story in human emotion, even as the plot stretches believability. While this outcome was a disappointment for all of us who had so many theories of the Rani, Susan Foreman, Jenny, Missy, Romana, or even another god being her mother, RTD again did the unexpected by making Ruby's family just plain all human, which was refreshing in some ways. The episode leaves many questions unanswered, setting up future storylines. Mrs. Flood remains a mysterious figure with connections to the Doctor's past. We'll definitely be making a more detailed video about her. Ruby seems set for new adventures with her found family, and we will still see her from time to time. The Doctor, for now, is on his own again, but Doctor Who promises to return with more excitement and a new companion, who we know will be Veroda Setu, whether as Monday who she played in Boom or a completely new character. This finale, while imperfect, captures the heart of Doctor Who with its mix of nostalgia, emotional depth, and over-the-top fun. Ncuti Gatwa and Millie Gibson have brought incredible chemistry and energy to the TARDIS, and the season's mysteries have kept us hooked. From musical mayhem to chilling horror, this season has delivered a truly unforgettable adventure. What did you think of Season 14? What are you hoping to see in Season 15? Or do you refer to them as Seasons 1 and 2? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more Doctor Who reviews and updates. Until next time, stay fantastic.